Today I'm going to tell you 2 stories about the most unclever things I ever did in school. And when I say unclever, I mean unclever things. So, let's begin. And the first story is basically me standing there with my bow and arrow trying to hit the target. But I totally missed the mark. My arrow did not hit the target, it just flew straight by it. So, I came to school and I had been sick for 5 days to a week, something between there. So I came to school and I met my teacher and she gave me like this thick of stack of papers. And she told me that this stacks of paper should be finished the next day. And I was standing there and thinking, how in the world will I be able to finish this thing? It's not something you do in one day, or less than one day technically. So when I came home, I told my mother and she helped me finish this whole thing. So I worked from the moment I got home to when I went to bed, I worked on this whole thing. And then I came to school all proud because I had finished this thing. And I gave this thing to my teacher and she was starting to look through it. And I finished this whole thing. And my teacher gave me this look. And the moment she gave me this look, I knew I had done something wrong. And so I was thinking in my head, well, what I have done wrong? Have I answered everything wrong? Is this whole thing wrong? And she told me that this was something we were supposed to work on for the next 4 months. That was the moment that I basically started screaming inside. I have done this whole thing in less than a day, and I had 4 months to finish it. And then she told me that I was only supposed to do 3 pages. I had totally misunderstood her. She wanted me to do 3 pages, and I had thought she had told me that I needed to finish this whole thing. And then she told me that at least now, for the next 4 months, you had nothing to do. And I was just, yay. It was bittersweet, like nothing to do for 4 months, but I could have chilled out. I didn't need to be so stressed out to finish this whole thing because I had 4 months to finish it. So that was pretty bad. But in the end it worked out. The next story is not that kind of story. It's not the story that works out in the end. It's the kind of mistake that you cannot undo and didn't go well at all. So, the next story is me standing there with my bow and arrow trying to hit the target. But my arrow flies as far away from the target as it can go. It goes as far away as it can go. But shoot, gone. The arrow will never be found. So this is the second story. And in school, you get to spend a day with your parents at your job and you were supposed to write a speech about this whole thing. Which I did. I spent a day with my mom and I wrote a speech. And I was so proud of my speech because I thought it was really good. So I came to school and I was sitting at my desk and the teacher was setting up the camera because she was filming this whole thing. So somewhere out there this whole disaster show came on videotape. Yeah, great, right? Yeah, so I was sitting there at my desk, all proud and yeah, I was feeling pretty good. And then the teacher called up a name, and then the next, and then the next. And I was sitting there and I realized that my speech was not on this planet. My speech was not on planet Earth. The rest of the people's speeches was on Earth. Mine was at the moon. That's how far off my speech was from the others. And I was trying on this whole thing, trying to make up a new speech in my head and jumble my old speech with a new, which was not a good idea to change my speech. Bad idea. And then they said my name. And so the show began. And so I went up there and I was trying to be proud because I was still feeling pretty good about my speech. I shouldn't have felt pretty good about my speech because this is going to go down in the mud. Trust me on this. So I started and it went pretty well for the first, minute. And trust me, the other people's speeches were like around 2 minutes. Mine my speech was more like 10-15 minutes because I just couldn't stop. So I began having a serious speech for the first 1-2 minutes, and then I started to forget what I was going to say because I had made up a whole new speech in my head. And every time I forgot what I was going to say, I was just blah 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 blah. And then I started to talk, and then blah 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 blah. And I just continued and continued. And everybody in the room started to laugh. Even my teacher started to keep herself from laughing because she thought it was really funny. But I couldn't stop. For like 8 to 9 minutes, I just kept on talking, and everybody was laughing. And I was still so serious about my speech. And then I hear this click sound, which means that the memory card is full in the camera for a joke show at the end. But by the end, the lesson was finished and it was time to go home, so the people who was supposed to have speeches after me didn't have the speeches after me. So they had 2 more days to train on the speeches and have the speeches on Monday. But I couldn't stop talking. So for 10-15 minutes I just kept on talking, and everybody was laughing. And now I look back and you say, oh, that was so fun. At least the people in my classroom had a fun lesson. But I probably got, I don't know, not a good grade on that speech. If you get my drift. And yeah, if you want more content like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. And don't forget to share. And if you do something like not so clever, it's alright, because we are sitting in the same boat here. Because I think every person in this world do something stupid sometimes that they think back on and say, how could I be so stupid? And how could I misunderstand something like that? Because I was totally out flying with my speech. I wasn't on the ground, I was in space, flying around, trying to come closer to the earth. And that was basically my disaster. But now and in that moment, I didn't feel embarrassed. I just kept on going. Which was probably a bad idea, but at least it makes for a good story that I just couldn't stop talking in my disaster speech. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe and thank you all for watching. Bye bye!